Singing to the Lord, I'm singing to the Lord. What a wonderful day, I'm singing to the Lord. Did you know it's raining outside? It's been raining and raining and raining and raining and raining and raining. And then it rained some more. It stopped for a while. Now it's raining again. So I was inspired to sing God's little devotional book. No is one of the few words that can never be misunderstood. Really. But let your statement be yes. Yes or no. No. Matthew 5:37. Not sure I understand any of that. But let your statement be yes, yes, or no, no. Okay. Well, although taken captive as children, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were so wise that as adults they were put over the affairs of the Babylonian province. The king they served built a gold image some 100 feet high and placed it in their province. He invited the empire's leaders to a dedication of the image and gave a command that when a tribute of music was sounded, like something like that, all should fall and worship the golden image. However, whoever didn't do so would be thrown into a giant furnace. The music played, and all fell on their faces, except Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. They were Jews, and had been taught from earliest memory never to worship a graven image. Word of their refusal quickly came to the king, and in a rage the king summoned them. The three leaders didn't hesitate in saying to the king, "We will not serve your gods, nor worship the golden image." Daniel 3:18. Furious, the king had the three cast into the fire, only to find that they did not burn. They emerged unscorched. The no of these faithful men resulted in the king decreeing that no person in the land speak anything against their God. From Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, whom the king called, that was my cue for you to fill in the blanks, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, were promoted. If your answer is no, then make it mean something. When you stand by your word, God will stand by you. He'll stand by you. He'll stand by you. Don't need anyone else, 'cause he'll stand by you. That's what you're here for, huh? Well, it's the 13th of March. And this is At the Name of Jesus, where we get a new name for Jesus every day. And today, Jesus is our example. He is the pattern God has given to show us what a human being is meant to be. And Jesus says, "As I live in you, I will form you into the marvelous image of God, expressed through your own peculiar humanness. Don't try to be like me. As you love me and desire me with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, you will find yourself transformed into a self-giving, loving person." Yeah. "For you have been called for this purpose, since Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example for you to follow in his steps. For by his wounds you were healed." Voiced Peter 2:21 through 24. Voiced Peter. When I say Peter, it reminded me of Family Guy. Peter, what's up over here? That's what's wrong. I don't have another book in my hand. It's Springs in the Valley. Daily Devotional. The 13th of March, I believe is what we said. It's 2-pager. This book still smells good. Let's see. March 13th. That your love may abound yet more and more. That your love may abound yet more and more. Philippians 1:9. There's the door. Tradition says that when they carried St. John's for the last time into the church, he lifted up his feeble hands to the listening congregation. And he said as he stands, little children, love one another. And that's the reason. The words are echoing, yet throughout the world, more precious and important, even than faith is heavenly love. It's not really working. Without it, faith must ultimately wither. Many of God's most powerful workers, after a time, lose their power because they lose the spirit of love. This is the crowning grace of Christian character. It has 1,000 shades, and it is in the finer touches that the glory consists. Every new experience of life is but a school to learn some lesson of love. Let us not try to expel our teachers. Let us welcome them and so learn the lesson, that they may soon pass on and leave us to make new advances. If mountains can be removed by faith, is there less power in love? The immense arms from either side of the fort bridge had been completed. Slowly and steadily they had been built out. All that was now needed at the center of the mighty arch was the final riveting. The day fixed was cold and chilly. Cold contracts metal. In spite of the fire set under the iron to expand it, the inch or two required, the union could not be completed, and the day's program was a failure. But next day the sun rose bright. Under its genial warmth, the iron expanded. The holes came opposite each other, and the riveters had nothing to do but drive the binding bolts home. By the way, I don't remember what those songs were that I was singing, and you type them out if you feel like it, because I don't even know. Anyhow, this is a poem or something by A.W.C. Love unbinds others by its bonds. Love through me, love of God, there is no love in me. O fire of love, light thou the love that burns perpetually. Flow through me, peace of God, calm river, flow until no wind can blow, no current stir a ripple of self-will. Shine through me, joy of God, make me like thy clear air, which thou dost pour thy colors through, as though it were not there. O blessed love of God, that all may taste and see how good thou art. Once more I once more I pray. Love through me, even me, A.W.C. Ha! Love never faileth. I wonder if A.W.C. is the author, Mrs. Cowman, because it just says Mrs. Cowman. It doesn't say what their name is. Well, we're there already? Maybe we should practice that other song that we learned. We learned it right here on this show. Remember it? That wasn't, we'll never find perfection, will we? But that was pretty much awesome as it's been so far. Thank you, Lord, for the music. Wow. It almost makes you want to learn a different song. I don't even remember there should be a better way for me to remember how and when I first discovered that. I mean, I know the song because Mom sang it and everything, but as far as learning to play it, it was a few weeks ago, I'm sure. And I just reached over there and started tapping away, and well, that's how it happened, I guess. And I did it twice. I don't know if there are more notes. And I don't know if you should do it more than twice. Sorry, this hairband is bugging me. Should I stop the tape? It's not a tape. I'm dating myself. Oh yeah, you want to go out? Derp. It was bugging me. Take a closer walk with me. Well, there's your answer. Since we played the music, let's sing it. Why not? Grant it, Jesus, if you please. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. I am weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, keep me from all wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk, dear Lord, close to thee. Through this world of toil and snares, if I falter, Lord, who cares? Who with me my burden shares? None but thee, dear Lord, none but thee. Just a closer walk with thee. Grant it, Jesus, if you please. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. When my feeble life is over, time for me will be no more. On that bright eternal shore, I will walk, dear Lord, close to thee. Just a closer walk with thee. Grant it, Jesus, if you please. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. Number 398, Traditional, adopted by N.J. Traditional Spiritual, arranged by Norman Johnson. Must be what N.J. stands for. That's number 398 in Praise or Songs and Hymns from 1979. All right, then, now that we're all warmed up, we can get back to the movie. We've been watching a movie about, well, the promised land and Josephus. Is that what his name was? Josephus? It's not Joseph. It's Jeshua. Jeshua. Well, this is the Daily Bible by author F. Ledyard Smith, and chronologically reordered it for it and offers this here commentary on the division of the promised land, because they just routed everybody. Now that the general conquest of Canaan is complete, it is time to partition the promised land among the remaining 9.5 tribes who will be occupying the land west of the Jordan River. For some unknown reason, the tribes of Judah and Ephraim and the remaining half-tribe of Manasseh are given a preferential portion of the land, along with a special grant for Caleb, the former faithful spy. Thereafter, the remaining land will be surveyed and divided by lot among other tribes. Well, aren't those other ones, and Judah and Ephraim and the half-tribe of Manasseh, they asked for that land on the other side of the river and volunteered to fight ahead of everyone else. So maybe that's why they get special treatment and land and such. And then this other guy that's left over, the former spy, well, those were the only two people that were faithful, right? In there, they were like, let's do it. And everybody else was like, no, let's be scared. So Joshua 13. When Joshua was old and well advanced in years, the Lord said to him, you're very old, and there are still very large areas of land to be taken over. This is the land that remains, all the regions of the Philistines and Gershurites, from the Sahor River on the east of Egypt to the territory of Ekron on the north, all of it counted as Canaanite, the territory of the 5 Philistine rulers in Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron, that of the Avites. From the south, all the land of the Canaanites, from Arah of the Sidonians as far as Aphek, the region of the Amorites, the area of the Gebalites, and all Lebanon to the east, from Baal-Gad below Mount Hermon to Lebo Hamath. As for all the inhabitants of the mountains regions, from Lebanon to Misrephoth Maim, that is, all the Sidonians, I myself will drive them out before the Israelites. Be sure to allocate this land to Israel for an inheritance, as I have instructed you, and divide it as an inheritance among the 9 tribes and half of the tribe of Manasseh. What I told you before might be incorrect. I'm just reading it. I'm no teacher, man. I'm reading it. You're watching and I'm reading. And sometimes we ask questions and stuff. But I ain't no teacher, man. I ain't afraid of no booger, man. What's that from? Oh, I know. The idea is that's a question for you. I ain't afraid of no booger, man. The other half of Manasseh, the Reubenites and the Gadites, had received the inheritance that Moses had given them east of the Jordan, as he, the servant of the Lord, had assigned it to them. It extended from Aroer on the rim of the Arnon Gorge and from the town in the middle of the gorge, and included the whole plateau of Medeba, as far as Dibon, and all the towns of the Sihon king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, out to the border of the Ammonites. It also included Gilead, the territory of the people of Geshur and Makkah, all of Mount Hermon, and all Bashan, as far as Selekah. That is, the whole kingdom of Og in Bashan, who had reigned in Ashtaroth and Edrei, and had survived as one of the last of the Rephates. Most had defeated them and taken over their land. But to the tribe of Levi he gave no inheritance, since the offerings made by fire to the Lord, the God of Israel, are their inheritance, as he promised them. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Reuben, clan by clan. The territory from Aroer rim of the Arnon Gorge, and from the town in the middle of the gorge, and the whole plateau past Medeba to Heshbon, and all its towns on the plateau, including Dibon, Bamoth, Baal, Beth Baal, Meon, Jahaz, Kedemoth, Mephatha, Mephath, Kiriathaim, Sibmah, Zareth Shahar on the hill in the valley, Beth Peor, the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Jeshimoth, all the towns on the plateau, and the entire realm of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled at Heshbon. Moses had defeated him, and the Midianite chiefs, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, princes allied with Sihon, who lived in that country. In addition to those slain in battle, the Israelites had put to the sword Balaam, son of Beor, who practiced divination. The boundary of the Reubenites was the bank of the Jordan. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Reubenites clan by clan. And that's right, we never did decide if this was Balaam. Anyway, well, maybe we'll never know. Balaam. Well, the boundary of the Reubenites was the bank of the Jordan. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Reubenites clan by clan. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Gad, clan by clan. The territory of Jazer, all the towns of Gilead, and half the Ammonite country as far as Eror, near Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramoth Mizpah, and Betonim, and from Mahanaim to the territory of Debir, and in the valley Beth Haram, Beth Nimrah, Succoth, and Zephon, with the rest of the realm of Sihon, king of Heshbon, the east side of the Jordan, the territory up to the end of the sea of Kinnereth. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Gadites clan by clan. This is what Moses had given to the half-tribe of Manasseh, that is, to half the family of the descendants of Manasseh clan by clan. The territory extending from Mahanaim, and including all of Bashan, the entire realm of Og, king of Bashan. All these settlements of Jair in Bashan, 60 towns, half of Gilead, and Ashtaroth and Edrei, the royal cities of Og in Bashan. This was for the descendants of Machir, son of Manasseh, for half the sons of Machir, clan by clan. And this is the inheritance Moses had given when he was in the plains of Moab across the Jordan east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses had given no inheritance. The Lord, the God of Israel, is their inheritance, as he promised them. Now these are the areas the Israelites received as inheritance in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the heads of the tribal clans of Israel allotted to them. Their inheritances were assigned by lot to the 9.5 tribes. As the Lord had commanded through Moses, Moses had granted 2.5 tribes their inheritance east of the Jordan, but had not granted the Levites an inheritance among the rest. For the sons of Joseph had become 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. The Levites received no share of the land, but only towns to live in, with pasture lands for their flocks and herds. So the Israelites divided the land just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Now the men of Judah approached Joshua at Gilgal, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, said to him, "You know that the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, at Kadesh Barnea, about you and me, I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land. And I brought him back a report according to my convictions, but my brothers who went up with me made the hearts of the people melt with fear. I, however, followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly. So on the day Moses swore to me, the land on which your feet have walked will be your inheritance, and that of your children forever, because you have followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly. Now then, just as the Lord promised, he has kept me alive for 45 years since the time he said this to Moses, while Israel moved about in the desert. So here I am today, 85 years old. I'm still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out. I'm just as vigorous to go out to battle now as I was then. Now give me this hill country, and the Lord promised me that day. The Lord promised me that day. You yourself heard then that the Anakites were there, and their cities were large and fortified. But the Lord helping me, I will drive them out just as he said. Then Joshua blessed Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and gave him Hebron as his inheritance. So Hebron has belonged to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and the Kenizzite ever since, because he followed the Lord, the God of Israel, wholeheartedly. Hebron used to be called Kiriath Arba after Arba, who was the greatest man among the Anakites. The allotment of the tribe of Judah, clan by clan, extended down to the territory of Edom, to the desert of Zin in the extreme south. Their southern boundary started from the bay at the southern end of the Salt Sea, crossed south of Scorpion Pass, continued on to Zin, and went over the south of Kadesh Barnea. Then it ran past Hezron up to Adar and curved around to Karka. It then passed along the Asman and joined the Wadi of Egypt, ending at the sea. This is their southern boundary. The eastern boundary is the Salt Sea as far as the mouth of the Jordan. The northern boundary started from the bay of the sea at the mouth of the Jordan, went up to Beth Hoglah, and continued north of Beth Araba to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. The boundary then went up to Debir from the valley of Achor, and turned north to Gilgal, which faces the pass of Adumim, south of the gorge. Starting to remind me of the law. It continued along to the waters of En-Shemesh and came out at En-Rogel. Then it ran up the valley of Ben-Hinnom, along the southern slope of the Jebusite city, that is Jerusalem. From there it climbed to the top of the hill west of the Hinnom Valley. At the north end of the valley of Rephaim, from the hilltop, the boundary headed toward the spring of waters of Nephtoah, came out at the towns of Mount Ephron, and went down toward Bala, that is Kiriath Jearim. Then it curved westward from Bela to Mount Seir. It ran along the northern slope of Mount Jearim, that is Kesalon, continued down to Beth Shemesh and crossed the Timnah. It went to the northern slope of Ekron, turned toward Shikharon, passed along the Mount Bala, and reached Jabneel. The boundary ended at the sea. The western boundary is the coastline of the Great Sea. These are the boundaries around the people of Judah by their clans. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Judah, clan by clan. The southernmost towns of the tribe of Judah in the Negev toward the boundary of Edom were Kabzeel, Eder, Jagur, Kinah, Demonah, Adada, Kadesh, Hazor, Ithnan, Ziph, Telem, Belath, Hazor, Hadath, Kiriath, Hezron, that is Hazor, Amam, Shema, Molada, Hazar, Gadah, Heshman, Beth Pelet, Hazar Shual, Beersheba, Biziothia, Bala, I am, how do you say that? Ezem, Beltoled, Kessel, Horma, Ziklag, Madmana, Sansana, Laboth, Shilhim, Ain, and Rimmon, a total of 29 towns and their villages. In the western foothills, Eshtaol, Zorah, Ashna, Zanoah, En-Ganim, Tapua, Anam, Jarmuth, Adullam, Socha, Azekah, Sharaim, Adithaim, and Gedera, or Gederothaim, 14 towns and their villages. Zenon, Hadashah, Migdalgad, Delin, Mizpah, Joktheel, Lachish, Bozkath, Eglon, Cabin, Lamas, Kitlish, Gederath, Beth Dagon, Nama, and Makkedah, 16 towns and their villages. Libnah, Ether, Ashan, Iftah, Ashna, Nazib, Keilah, Akzib, and Marishah, 9 towns and their villages. Ekron with its surrounding settlements and villages west of Ekron, all that were in the vicinity of Ashdod, together with their villages. Ashdod, its surrounding settlements and villages, and Gaza, its settlements and villages, as far as the Wadi of Egypt and the coastline of the Great Sea. It'd be handy if this was written in English, or if I spoke whatever languages I've been reading. In the hill country, Shamir, Jatir, Sukkah, Dana, Kiriath, Sana, that is Debir, Anab, Eshtemoa, Anim, Goshen, Holon, and Gila, 11 towns and their villages. Arab, Duma, Ishan, Janim, Beth Tapua, Aphekah, Humta, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, and Zair, 9 towns and their villages. Maon, Carmel, Ziph, Juttah, Jezreel, Jokdeam, Zanoah, Cain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 towns and their villages. Halha, Beth Zur, Gedor, Marath, Beth Anath, and Eltekon, 6 towns and their villages. Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 towns and their villages. In the desert, Beth Araba, Middin, Sekaka, Nibshan, and the city of Salt, and En-Gedi, 6 towns and their villages. The allotment for Joseph began at the Jordan of Jericho, east of the waters of Jericho, and went up from there through the desert into the hill country of Bethel. It went on from Bethel, that is Luz, crossed over the territory of the Archites in Atarath, descended westward to the territory of the Japhletites as far as the region of Lower Beth Horon, and on to Gezer, ending at the sea. So Manasseh and Ephraim, the descendants of Joseph, received their inheritance. This was the territory of Ephraim, clan by clan. The boundary of their inheritance went from Adaroth Adar in the east to Upper Beth Horon, and continued to the sea. From Metheth on the north, it curved eastward to Tanath Shiloh, passing by it to Genoa on the east, Then it went down from Genoa to Adaroth and Nara, touched Jericho, and came out at the Jordan. From Tapua, the border went west to the Canaan ravine and ended at the sea. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the Ephraimites, clan by clan. It also included all the towns and their villages that were set aside for the Ephraimites within the inheritance of the Manassites. This was the allotment for the tribe of Manasseh as Joseph's firstborn, that is, for Machir, Manasseh's firstborn. Machir was the ancestor of the Gileadites, who had received Gilead and Bashan because the Machirites were great soldiers. So this allotment was for the rest of the people of Manasseh, the clans of Abiezer, Helik, Asriel, Shechem, Hefer, and Shemida. Awesome Pepper incorporated that. These are the other male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, by their clans. Now Zelophehad, son of Hefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons but only daughters, whose names were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They went to Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the leaders, and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our brothers." So Joshua gave them inheritance along with the brothers of their father, according to the Lord's command. Manasseh's share consisted of 10 tracts of land beside Gilead and Bashan, east of the Jordan, because the daughters of the tribe of Manasseh received an inheritance. Among the sons, the land of Gilead belonged to the rest of the descendants of Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh extended from Asher to Michmethath, east of Shechem. The boundary ran southward from there to include the people living at En-Tappuah. Manasseh had the land of Tappuah, but Tappuah might be Tappuah. In Tappuah. Manasseh had the land of Tappuah, but Tappuah itself, on the boundary of Manasseh, belonged to the Ephraimites. Then the boundary continued south of the Canaan ravine. There were towns belonging to Ephraim lying among the towns of Manasseh, but the boundary of Manasseh was the north side of the ravine, and ended at the sea. On the south, the land belonged to Ephraim, on the north to Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh reached the sea and bordered Asher on the north and Issachar on the east. The people of Joseph said to Joshua, "Why have you given us only one allotment and one portion for an inheritance? We are a numerous people, and the Lord has blessed us abundantly." "If you are so numerous," Joshua answered, "and if the hill country of Ephraim is too small for you, go up into the forest and clear land for yourselves there in the land of the Perizzites and Rephaites." The people of Joseph replied that the hill country is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites who live in the plain have iron chariots, both those in Bethshan and its settlements, and those in the valley of Jezreel. But Joshua said to the house of Joseph, "To Ephraim and Manasseh, you are numerous and very powerful. You will have not only one allotment, but the forested hill country as well. Clear it, and its farthest limits will be yours. Though the Canaanites have iron chariots, and though they are strong, you can drive them out." Well, that was a tough read there for a while. I mean, I don't know if it wasn't, but it was. And since I bragged about the movie, that wasn't much more than a documentary overlooking a bunch of territory. Like a scout. Well, that'll be about it. We'll be here tomorrow. Good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Say that with jest, but today and yesterday and all week it's been raining.